Hello, how are you doing? Well, let's talk about the Six Nations in 5 weeks. Yep, that has been the proposal from the Aviva Premiership as part of the discussions around how should we be restructuring the global season post 2019 when the current agreement comes to an end. Let's try and get a better angle with all this sunlight. There we go. So, the Aviva Premiership has suggested the Six Nations takes place in 5 weeks rather than 7 weeks. And I think it comes down to a bit of a question about what is the Six Nations for. There is the talk about player welfare, but we'll have a chat about that tomorrow rather than today. So what is the Six Nations for? Is it a means in itself, or is the Six Nations a preparation for something else, such as, well, the Rugby World Cup, obviously. So for me, the Rugby World Cup is a series of games where you play every weekend, and there isn't a week, the gap weeks. So if you were using the Six Nations as preparation for the Rugby World Cup, having it over 5 weekends would be a better guide and better preparation than having it spread over 7 weeks. And I think that's, for me, a better use of it. But a lot of people see, and I think the unions themselves see the Six Nations as an end in itself. To start off with, it effectively funds European rugby and makes them the powerhouse financially that they are over their southern neighbours. So if we look at one of the things that came out recently was that the Six Nations is the most attended, as if you look at average attendances per game, tournament in the world, beating things like the English Premier League, the Football World Cup, beating the NFL and all these other mega things. It does come down in 24th or something like that, or in 42nd, I don't know what it was. Anyway, it comes way down the list of overall attendance. That's because there are so few games. So the Six Nations is in some ways an end in itself. In fact, it does provide that funding. It also provides, but from a sporting point of view, is it really the goal, or is the Rugby World Cup the goal? I don't think financially you'd see much of a drop-off if you went down to 5 weeks rather than 7 weeks. There is talk about the fact that the away supporters would cost more, and that it's unfair to pay that amount. But personally, I don't think that many of us would go to many in New Zealand, but people going to multiple games, I think, is unrealistic really in this day and age. Except for the very high-end people. I mean, most of us actually can't even get hold of tickets, never mind how much cash we have, never mind being able to have the time off or be able to cop. So, to me, I think going down to 5 weeks from a preparation point of view is a good move. I know that obviously it's been done from a that's not the standpoint it's been suggested from. It's been suggested from freeing up time for Aviva Premiership to have their players, rather than they lose their players for less amount of time. We'll talk about the player welfare point of that tomorrow. So that's my point of view. I think yes, 5 weeks is actually a good idea for the Six Nations. It also allows continuity of it. But let me know your thoughts on Twitter or in the comments below. Thank you, everybody. That's me talking about the Six Nations in 5 weeks.